How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews, back with a little mystery beer, courtesy of my boy Carson. Yeah, he's good for a mystery beer every now and then. I did the unboxing. I saw this beer. I won't read that. There's something I'll show you guys. We'll give you a little sneak peek. I did not read what was underneath there, so I'm afraid that might tip me off. But I saw there was lettering, so we'll go from there. But he sends me beers off quite often. This be a mystery beer. He said this is absolutely not 100% not homebrew mystery, which is exactly what you'd say if you did homebrew mystery. Anyway, yeah, classic masking tape. It's more like a packing masking tape than anything else. Sweet Carson written on the front because I forget all kinds of things. And I'm guessing a milk stout with coffee from a distance because I feel like I'm getting milk stout and coffee from a distance. Just under half a pinky finger, malted malt ball, somewhere between khaki and malted malt ball colored, super tight head, and definitely has that darkness to it. It's not the thickest or darkest motor oil level darkness, but pretty dark. It's good nose. I mean, it's definitely a milk stout. It has to be a milk stout. And by that I mean, it might not be a milk stout. I'm getting oatmeal stout is what I'm getting. I'm not getting milk stout. I don't know why I said that. It smells like an oatmeal stout. Soft bittering, big oaty kind of lactose thing. So it's like a softly dolloped milk stout. But for me, that's more of kind of like an oatmeal stout. That's why I kind of shifted in that direction from what I said. A little bit of soft chocolate. Nothing too crazy. It smells like a really nice, soft, chuggable, drinkable. Let's put it this way. This is either an imperial porter or an oatmeal stout. That's my vibe so far. Let's dive in. Cheers. Okay. What is that? What is that? So it's got that sultry, soft creaminess of an imperial porter, more specifically a oatmeal stout. There's something in here. I don't know what it is. It's a bittering, but I don't believe it's a hop bittering. Could be a combination of hops and malt, but there's something else to it. Like a chicory, like a wood, like a saya bark kind of thing going on in here. There's something, I don't know if I'm going to be able to put my finger on with this beer. Soft, fluffy creaminess. You get hit with this spice. It's weird because I want to call this knee-jerk from the nose to the immediate taste of the beer. I want to call this like a 7 to 8% imperial porter kind of oatmeal stout. But then about like a half a second after you take a sip, you get popped with this incredible spicy kind of component that I don't know. I have no idea what it is. What is it? That brings this soft kind of pepper characteristic. It's very much pepper, but it doesn't come off as jalapeno, though. I guess it does. So it tricks me into giving it a higher kind of ABV because I'm getting this heat from it. It has to be some kind of spicy pepper. That's what it's got to be. That's not what it tastes like to me, though. The only reason I'm saying some kind of spicy pepper is because there's a green vegetal characteristic to the spiciness. That's the only reason why I'm leaning in that direction. Man, this is a weird beer. There's no heat on it, though. And that's the other thing. Like, so from what I'm tasting right now, I'm getting like a heavily oated, if not a little bit of milk stout vibes, in an imperial porter / oatmeal stout with a spicy peppery component that I think is kind of a vegetal kind of green kind of pepper. Which would all make sense because one of my favorite combinations when it comes to kind of a spicy, peppery, heat-driven beer is in a milk stout because it tempers that heat. It gives you that little bit of heat, but then that milk lactose portion of the show kind of tempers it from getting out of control, and that's a fun little back and forth. But I'm getting no heat on this. It's not like it's like building slightly, and I'm getting like a little bit of heat, and then it's being tempered by the milk stout. No. It's more of like a green vegetal thing. This is weird. I have no idea what this beer is. When I guess, what I'm going to guess. If I'm right, it's totally shooting from the hip. I don't know what that spiciness is. It's not currant. It's not pepper. It's not like, it could be like a bell pepper. There's no heat to it. Like even with that milk stout. Man, this one's got me good. So what is this? This is an 8.3% oatmeal stout with peppercorn, pink peppercorns, and some kind of wood. I have no fucking idea. Like, literally have no fucking idea. Like, that's just, like, I just whipped that out. I'm probably not even tasting those things. I'm just kind of guessing on it. Yeah, I have no idea about this beer. If this is, like, spirit barrel age, I would be beyond bonkers. If this is above double digits, I'd be very, very surprised. If this contains a super duper spicy pepper, I'd be surprised. Unless it's charred to death, to where it's basically removed all heat from the pepper whatsoever. It's got a neck on it. Is this a Founders beer? Carson, send me goddamn Founders beers. Okay, it is Founders. It's that new barley wine of theirs. Right? Okay. So someone wanted to send this to me. I forget your name, brother. I'm sorry. He watches the videos. He actually sent me an Instagram thing to be like, hey man, have you had the new barley wine by Founders? He's like, I'd love to send you one bottle for now and one bottle to age. Actually, I'm going to look up his goddamn name because I feel like a bad person for not remembering. It'll be easy to find because he literally just messaged me like a day and a half, 2 days ago. That would be Eric. Eric, he said, hey man, I'm like, I'd love to send that off. I was like, yeah man, I'm like, I really don't do Founders on my reviews. I'm like, it's just my kind of thing. I'm just not a big fan of how they handled their kind of racial discrimination suit. I know a bunch of you hate when I talk about that shit, but I don't sit here and yammer all that much. I just say it's my thing and I don't want to do it. So, but it's a mystery beer, so it is what it is. It says on the back here, it says, what's your nemesis? Ours is a barley wine style ale brewed with roasted malts and no shortage of hops for a pleasantly bitter, booming flavor, pouring with a slight and subtle mahogany hue and a multitude of flavors that melt on your tongue. This is one nemesis you'll feel good about keeping around. ABV is 11.2%. This is not barley wine. For everybody keeping score at home. This is not barley wine. It's not. This is, I'm telling you right now, this is where I will stand up and put my foot down and be like, I'm not fucking wrong in this beer. Now, I'm not saying I kind of crushed it as far as exactly the flavors you're getting in this beer, but in no way, shape, or form is this beer even close to a barley wine. Okay? It's not. It's this soft, fluffy, creamy thing with this spicy component. So they did an American barley wine with bittering, spicy hops is basically what they did here. I construed it as some kind of pepper because of how spicy that hop comes off. It could be a little bit of alcohol kind of heat, but I don't get it in the back throat. It's all in the tongue. This is not a good beer. I could see somebody liking this, but this is not a good beer for me. Let's put it that way. Barley wine style ale brewed with roasted malts. I mean, unless they charred the shit out of those malts, I just don't get it. I honestly just don't get it. I don't. And it's not because I am kind of poo-poo on fucking Founders. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can get down with, like, I'm not saying Founders doesn't make good beer. I'm not saying Founders doesn't make great beer. I've had one of my favorite beers of all time comes from Founders. I'm perfectly able of separating my kind of disdain for how they handled that situation. Again, not that the situation happened. What they did, it's how they handled it that I have a problem with. Because those issues will rise in a lot of different companies. It's how you handle it and how you move forward. Shows who you are. So I'm not a big fan of that, but I could also sit here and tell you if this beer is good or not. And I would. I believe I would. And I believe this isn't. It's like a super... It's almost like a Cascadian Imperial Porter, but not. I don't know, man. It's just so weird. It's so weird beer. I don't even know what they're trying to pull with this thing. And that's the other thing about it, is that, this bottle shape is, I wouldn't say common, but pretty common. And it's common for beers that Carson has sent off in the past. You send off some, North Coasts, beers like that are in this typical bottle shape. So there's no way I could assume this is going to be a Founder's beer to kind of construe it as a negative thing, because I secretly know what kind of beer it is. I said watch it be a Founder's beer as a joke because I know he watches the channel and knows it doesn't do Founders. That was more of that. But, you got my honest thoughts and opinions on it. Now, am I correct? Is my palate garbage? I don't know. All I can tell you is I don't think this is a goddamn barley wine. It's more, like I said, Imperial Porter, like a Baltic, not even Baltic Porter, Imperial Porter. Imperial Porter / oatmeal porter stout with spices that I assumed came from some kind of non-heat inducing kind of spicy pepper. Yeah, I did not get this beer. But I'm going to tell you right now, this beer does not get me. It is what it is. It's unfortunately, we'll leave it at this. It's, I believe, a lot of what Founders does nowadays, which is trying to skew towards trying to be creative for the sake of being creative. Like I used to have this person I worked with, and the person was talented. I'm trying to word this nicely because I actually like the person. I want them to think. They never watch this, but I wouldn't want them to feel bad. They were talented at the application of their craft. But the ancillary bits and pieces, the creativity part of their craft was severely lacking. I don't care. Yeah, the person was a tattoo artist. They could tattoo anything you put in front of you. Gave them a picture, said, reproduce this. They would reproduce it, and it would look exactly the same. But if you said, draw me something of your own mind, trying to make me something creative that you dreamed up, it would be the worst. Because the person lacked creativity. So they could accomplish and duplicate that very complicated task, but when it came to the open-mindedness of having like artistic carte blanche, they just tried so hard it looked forced and looked contrived. That's how Founders post KBS years have looked. They've tried a bunch of different beers. That with Mango Pacifico or something was a fucking red hot garbage. They tried the Lizard of Kaz, which is, don't even get me started on that shit. They had some good ones. The Fudge-O-Maniac one was okay, and there's been some good beers, but more often than not, their new creations have faltered quite heavily, and they've gone back to their old creations to kind of keep pace with new school kind of bruisings. And this is honestly just something that if they're like, okay, we're going to do a new series, we're going to crush it. And it just missed. It's missed completely. So I'm not a big fan of it. Value to availability on this thing, I have no idea. I'm assuming it's Founders. Assume it comes in a 4-pack. And I assume this 4-pack is probably anywhere between $15 and $20 and leave you with, if you like what we like this beer. If you like Imperial Porters and you wish they had a baby with a bell pepper and a Cascadian Dark Ale, you'll like this. So there you go. A review in the books. Thank you very much, Carson, for sending this off. Very appreciative. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Down there, I got to read this now. It says, brewed for us. I don't know what that means. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed our review down there. If you want to talk about it, Massive Beers. If you want to check me out doing the social media stuff, Beer Massif. If you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing, hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of good beer right now. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers.